Do you take your motorhome out in the winter? You should. Why? Because very few people do, and that means it's easier to get into visitor attractions. It's simple to find a nice campsite like this without having to book, and there's less traffic on the roads. It's all good. But before you set off into the wintry wastes, I've got a few tips that you might like to bear in mind. You've probably heard about winter tyres for cars, but did you know you can get them for motorhomes as well? They're made of a special compound which is stickier in cold weather, and they have a special tread pattern which makes them much better able to grip in snow and ice. They do make a huge difference to winter driving. Of course, if you think that you might be facing Arctic conditions, then you might like to consider investing in a set of snow chains or snow socks. Your lights are even more important in the winter than they are in the summer, and it's absolutely essential that you check them before you leave and make sure that you've got spare bulbs, not just for the headlights, but for all the lights on the vehicle. And if you don't have daytime driving lights built into your motorhome, I suggest that you leave your headlights on at all times when you're driving. Don't forget the windscreen wipers and the washers, of course, and I strongly suggest considering investing in a new set of blades before you set off on your winter travels. And speaking of windscreens, you're going to need one of these. It's a windscreen cover. They're available in two varieties, ones that go inside the windscreen and ones that go outside. I prefer the ones that go outside because they eliminate problems with condensation, and also they avoid the need to scrape ice and snow off the windscreen before you set off. As the temperature falls, the battery's efficiency drops as well. They don't charge as quickly and they don't give off as much energy, so it's absolutely critical that you check your batteries before you set off and make sure that they're in the peak of condition. Don't forget to check the vehicle's charging system as well, because of course you're going to be using more power inside the motorhome than you would during the summer, what with lighting, heating and so forth. If you've got a solar panel on your roof, it'll still work in the winter, although obviously not as well. So you might like to consider upgrading the system, maybe even sticking one or even two extra panels up there. Every little helps. If you don't already have them in your motorhome, consider getting LED lights like this one. They can use up to 90% less power than halogen lights, such as this. It's in the winter that your heater and your boiler really earn their keep. It may be many months since you last used your heater, so check that it's working. And if you're in any doubt at all that it's working correctly, get it checked out by a fully qualified gas engineer for your comfort and your safety. Now you might think that a fridge would work better in the winter than it would in the summer, but you'd be wrong. When the ambient temperature gets below 10 degrees, absorption type fridges like this tend to overcool, and the manufacturers recommend that you buy a set of their nice vent covers, which will avoid you ending up with a fridge full of frozen food. When you're motorhoming in cold weather, you really have to keep an eye on the water. As far as fresh water is concerned, if you've got an inboard tank like I've got here, you've got no problem. But if your water tank is outboard, perhaps you should consider getting a jerry can and keeping fresh water actually in the motorhome. As for wastewater, well, to avoid the wastewater tank freezing, you have really two choices. You can either put car antifreeze in the tank, or you can just open up the drain tap and put a bucket underneath the outlet pipe. You'll just have to imagine the snow swirling around outside and the wind howling through the trees. But believe me, nothing beats being in your motorhome in the depths of winter, as snug as a bug in a rug, with a nice cup of tea and a few slices of toast. Wow, great toast, even though I say so myself. Well, that's it for part one. We'll be back again in a few minutes with part two and more great motorhome stuff. I'll see you then. Can I have some more toast, please?